all enjoyed. And it's something that Margaret and I believe in very powerfully. It's a neologism, which means a new word, and the new word is pronoia. It's the opposite of paranoia. It's the belief that everything in the universe is conspiring to support you, to aid and assist you, is pronoia. I think that's something, Margaret, we can use in our group. And we've certainly felt the effects of pronoia. I want to thank Bob Bergman for playing tonight, the cellist from the Detroit Symphony Orchestra. I want to thank Dr. Margaret Dwyer for all of her work and dedication to the Energy Medicine Research Institute. You know, if you want to get up and get some water, coffee, or something, feel free. I'm just going to be very casual about tonight's presentation, and I'll try to get done here in 20 minutes. The great Austrian physicist Erwin Schrödinger is known for the phrase, the total number of minds in the universe is one. In fact, consciousness is a singularity, phasing within all beings, which best summarizes his philosophical outlook on the nature of reality. The phrase implies that the apparent multiplicity of minds is an illusion, and that there is only one mind, or one consciousness, that expresses itself in a myriad of ways. In such a worldview, a separation between subject and object does not exist. There is no existence of subject on the one side and perception of an object on the other. In a world without the subject-object split, we are all expressions of the one. Schrödinger also stated that consciousness cannot be accounted for in physical terms. This, of course, reflects the idea of panpsychism, the view that all of existence is permeated by consciousness, and that consciousness is the underlying reality, rather than just something that is produced by brains of a certain complexity. Almost exactly 45 years ago tonight, on a cold winter night, at a very spiritual time in my life, I was taken out of my physical body, my consciousness, I'm referring to, possibly even my astral body, was taken into the aura of an immense being, which I call the Nirmanakaya. It's a seventh degree initiative. It's like a Buddha or a Christ being. Blavatsky says that there are Buddhas and Christ galore that are waiting to incarnate into our world when there are appropriate parents that can bring out the gifts that they will provide. This being took me back to the beginning of the universe at the event commonly called the Big Bang. The Big Bang, as it was explained to me by this incredible being, was an initiatory experience. It was an experience of consciousness and the expansion of light. And out of this chaos came what we know to be the universe. I've maintained all these years, the story is absolutely true. It was part of my discipleship, part of my training, and perhaps even an initiatory experience of a certain degree that I was fortunate to have with this immense being, the Nirmanakaya. And it was enough of an experience that it piqued my interest and still does to this day. That somehow a simplification really of volume 1 of the secret doctrine called cosmogenesis was explained through an experience. And this coincides with Schrodinger's belief in his quantum physics, his idea. Many of the quantum physicists talk about one source, one life, one mind. And I believe it. I believe that we're all connected. And we say that man is a composite being. When we try to heal, it's important that there certainly is a need for physical healing, and doctors do supply that. I have a number of doctors from the VA hospital and here at Rochester and Beaumont Hospital who I periodically visit, but there are other kinds of healings that are oftentimes appropriate. And that when we do our healing on patients and those in need, it's important that when we're trying to feed them this energy, that we do it through the chakras that are closest to the afflicted organs, not sending the energy directly to the organs themselves, but to the chakras that are closest to those organs. We say that by virtue of the fact that man is a composite being, he has what we call astral body, or an etheric body. And this etheric body is part of the human aura. This etheric body extends throughout the universe. Man is merely a part of this immense web of etheric energy. It was Chief Seattle who said, in referencing the web, he said that man did not weave the web of life. He is but a strand within it. Whatever he does to the web, he does to himself. So he's showing the interconnectedness of all things. Photons, it's part of quantum physics, and the physicists talk about it openly, that photons at opposite ends of the universe respond instantaneously to one another. We've said for many years that students at Claregate College that light was not the fastest thing in the universe, that there are other things that maybe mental energy is faster than light. It's worth consideration. Nikola Tesla said that if you wanted to understand the mystery of the universe, that we needed to think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. All of those are found in the human aura and certainly in the etheric and the astral bodies. Blavatsky said that about 80 or 90% of illnesses are directly a product of the astral body and the inability of mankind to correctly use these energies. They misdirect them. They create blockages in the chakras. Any good Chinese practitioner of Chinese medicine will tell you you have a blockage. And this is essentially what they're talking about, a blockage in one of these chakras. This etheric web that pervades the universe of which we are a part, which our aura is a part, is referred to by the ancients as the anima mundi, the anima mundi of the universe. It's this web, it's almost like a fishnet surrounding the entire universe, matrix, the etheric matrix, out of which the physical world is formed. In fact, the thing that I became aware of after my experience with the Big Bang was that there was a universe before the physical universe that was manifesting through the Big Bang, that there was an etheric universe and that there was an astral universe. They are the secrets of the Big Bang, is that there was something before the Big Bang. And that's what it was. It was this etheric, astral, mental energies that pervade the universe. This is part of the secret of dark energy and dark matter, is that when we talk about dark matter, dark energy, we're talking about the astral and mental worlds. That's what it really is. I'm probably 100 years ahead of my time in discussing the subject, but it will be eventually discovered. People laughed at C.W. Leadbeater, the great theosophical clairvoyant, when he said that he was able to see the structure of the elements of the periodic table. And they crucified, especially the theosophists, but the scientific world as well. He died around 1934, I believe it was. In 1936, the Germans invented the electron microscope, and they proved and confirmed Leadbeater's findings to be absolutely correct. It's the kind of a world that we live in. It's changing. We're changing from one age into another age. I'm a pioneer in the coming of the new age. It's part of why I was born, to be a part of this third outpouring. I almost bankrupted myself financing it. I would do it all over. It's been worth it. It's been a real incredible experience. But what we're talking about when we're talking about healing, esoteric healing, and other types of healings, is that we have to include these subtle bodies into the equation. And I've known many healers in my lifetime, really very highly evolved spiritual people. I can remember a couple, an elderly couple, 35 years ago, when I lived in South Africa. They were basically theosophists, both the man and the woman, Joseph and his wife, Louise Busby, world famous at that time amongst the esoteric people and organizations. And they would had a little ritual that they went through when someone was in need of healing. And they would visualize the person, as visualizing through the root chakra. And they would visualize this person and say the words, the name of the individual, receive now the healing love of God. And it was so simple that it went over my head, and I said, well, are you going to tell me how to heal? Well, we just did. Wow. Receive now the healing love of God. Energy follows thought. It's the first maxim of 20 maxims for esoteric healing. Now, we had these out several years ago when I spoke here. If anybody wants copies, I'll make sure you get some. I don't have them tonight, but there are 20 maxims of healing. And the first one is energy follows thought. And this proves the whole idea, really, largely of quantum physics. I gave a lecture on quantum art. And one of the great mysteries of quantum art is the energy and the meaning that the artist is putting into the work is reflected back to the viewer. The same principles of quantum physics apply to astrology. We say in the terms of quantum physics that an aspect is in its superposition state until it's observed. at which time it collapses into the realm of possibilities which are written out as probabilities or permutations. We sometimes call it permutative astrology. It is mind-boggling, believe me. We did charts recently in a lecture at my home on Wednesday nights. We have lectures and potluck dinners like this, and people get together. And then we do the Zoom meetings. And we did Fauci's horoscope. His time of birth was not known, but we were able to do a solar chart. Extraordinary revelations about Dr. Fauci, which will come to the attention of the American people, in fact, the entire world. But all of these things involve higher consciousness. They involve quantum physics insofar as the connectedness of all things and in giving meaning to life itself. About 5 minutes of this. The certain rules or postulates that the ancients gave out, I'll only give 4 of them tonight because of the time constraints. We say that these postulates apply, and certainly quantum physics applies to the postulates. They are all interrelated. First postulate of the 7 is hylozoism, the proposition that all things, organic and inorganic, are filled with life from the tiniest atom to the greatest galaxy. Postulate 2, each and all of these live within the body of a greater being. Human beings are solar systems in microcosm. These are the 7 sacred planets that we say exist. There are 7 sacred planets in our solar system. 3, each is made in the image of God, in the image of the one in whom it lives and moves and has its being, as above, so below. The 4th postulate, there is a continuum which links all living things together so that the smallest cell does not pulsate without its effects being felt in the furthest reaches of the solar system. I think it was some Hindu yogis or rishis said that a blade of grass is the journey work of the stars. I believe it is. It's all connected. We are connected to it. The life wave is moving through all things, all kingdoms, mineral, plant, animal, human, and the kingdoms above mankind, which are the spiritual hierarchies of our solar system. So when we think, as we're dealing in our healing with people who are afflicted, usually what happens is that guys like me only get their chance to heal when the doctors have given up. When there is no hope, then they summon me or someone like me. And sometimes miracles happen. We've even healed animals. So these are important things to remember. Always heal through the chakras that are closest to the organs that are afflicted, if there are afflicted organs. The majority of deaths are caused by organ failure. And when you can direct the energy from the brow chakra to the area, to the chakra nearest the organ, you're doing a great service for the afflicted person. If you're in doubt, you always want to heal through the heart chakra. If you are not sure where the illness is coming from, then heal through the heart. As I said earlier, Blavatsky and Alice Bailey and my teacher, Douglas Baker, said that about 90%, I think Blavatsky said 80%, but Alice Bailey and Douglas Baker said 90% of all illness is astral in origin, that the astral emotional body has caused disturbances and blockages in any one of these centers. And so we have to be aware of that fact. It's very important in our healing. if you want some of these handouts, see me afterwards, and I'll make sure you get copies. And with that, I'll close. I think I'm just right at the time of the end of my speech. Margaret, have you got something? What are we going to do next?
We are at the point where we begin. When you're done, we're going to have the gift drawing. Okay. And right. Mike Nicholson and Sean Johnson are going to help. And are you? I'm finished. Okay. So everybody's going to draw a number. Okay. The gifts are not names. Okay. And Mike's got the numbers. So he's coming around and you're going to draw a number. And then when your number comes up, then you go